So we will move on to begin with a panel discussion. To give you an introduction to the members who will be at the panel discussion, firstly, Mr. Mohit Dubey, who is the co-founder of carwale.com. He hails from a humble middle-class family, and now he heads the company, which is carwale.com, which has set the benchmark for how cars are bought and sold and advertised. The online traffic on the website on an average is around 1 lakh hits every day, and around 500 people leave replies asking for suggestions and questions and more information, etc. The next person to hold the panel discussion is Mr. Nagraj Prasad, who is the HR Director in the Asia Pacific region of Polaris. He has redefined the human resource management sphere, and he's based out of Singapore. He's also the ambassador for Contact Singapore, which basically attempts to bring more students and entrepreneurs to Singapore. I invite Vinay, the head of Win Solutions, to moderate the session, and also Mr. Venkatesh Iyer, who was with us yesterday. He is the MD and CEO of Goli Vada Pav.
Very good evening to all of you. My name is Vinay, and the topic we have chose for this session is winning the war of talent, HR, human resource. So by considering that the audience which we have right now is, most of the corporates are here and we have the students as well. So the HR is a topic which is the most heated thing in the companies. Like if you talk about established company or, startups, this is the area where everyone is putting a lot of focus, a lot of energy, a lot of money is involved in terms of selection, recruitment, and training and coaching. So I would basically, asking questions to the panel members, and based on that, we would love to have their inferences and perspectives on the questions which we are offering to them. So just to have a, the basic start of the session, the first question which is there in our mind when we talk about talent management, HR management is what is talent? What do you mean by the talent or HR? So I would request Mr. Nagraj to give his perspective on this thing. It's a very broad question, but what's your definition of talent?
The ability to accept change in one's life and one's career after having completed education is talent. The ability to see an opportunity and grab that opportunity and accept it and making it big is a talent. Otherwise, it's very simple. Everybody has all the inherent education that is required to do a job. But I think the cutting edge that all of us need is the ability to foresee and perceive things and opportunities as they come to us and how we grab them.
Thank you.
For us, from the industry where we are in, it's like a raw industry. Vada pav is normally sold on the footpath of Mumbai. So getting a talent was very difficult, and nobody would like to join a Vada pav company. So the question of getting an MBA graduate was out of question. But one thing that we wanted was somebody who could learn and somebody who could unlearn. The thing was, it was a new industry we were trying to create, conditioning and deconditioning. Somebody, the most important thing was, who had the ability to see the situation, learn the things and implement it. That was very important.
Mohit.
Hi. Good evening to all. It's a pleasure being here. And this is my favorite topic because I've been running a company for the last 8 years. And for the first 5 years of my life, my company, I don't take a holiday. Simply because, you're busy figuring out what to, I'll answer the question, what to do, what is the next product, and how to raise funds, so many things like that. The last 9 months, I've probably taken 5 holidays. I've been abroad, etc. Not because, and the company would grow almost by 300% over last year. Simply because we learned that doing what is not so important. Figuring out what to do is not so important. Figuring out who to do is more important. We had a much better team. I had around about 9 people on my core team, right, who take lots of burden off now. We actually figured out what is the kind of talent that we require. So if you ask me who the talent is, then the point is to say, there's a saying, right, the A-class people actually hire A-plus people, and the B and C hire B and C or D categories of people. So who's that A-plus player? In my company, we define A-plus player as somebody who got only those 10% people. For example, if we interview 10 people, we figure out only one guy who can do the job 90% of the time successfully. So for example, if we interview people and realize that everybody fits the bill, everybody can go and deliver the KRA which we return, the outcome we return, then we reject the KRA. We say the KRA is wrong. Let's write a KRA, let's write a job outcome, which only one guy can do out of 10, or 10% people can only do. So the benchmark has to be very high. So to us, the talent is somebody who could actually deliver the 10% of top player, top of the candidate which you interview, who can deliver 90% of the job which we are looking at. So that's what we actually call talent in terms of fit with the role.
Moving on, like there's a, one simple thing which we all have, like according to the textbook, there's a specific process to recruit people. Like we go into the market, we hunt for the HR. So like companies, they actually follow a specific process. So is the same with all three of you, that you have the specific, that textbook method to identify people, recruit them?
Ours is same as Polaris actually. I'm sorry, I don't know. We have to ask him. So. I think I made so many hiring mistakes that I literally went about asking everyone how to interview. I read 10 books on that. I read every book published by HBR in last 2 years about recruiting, hiring, etc. And I went to my board members. I never worked for a big companies. And if you go and interview somebody who's a VP at Times of India, my VP marketing today was the ex-VP of HSBC Bank. I end up interviewing people from all big industries. We are growing very fast. We are very well funded. Board had a pressure to go and recruit people, etc., etc. So I realized that, so I really learned. I learned hands-on. And today, our interview process is there are a couple of things which we follow. Number one is that we decide, before we hire the guy, we actually don't write the JD. We don't write the responsibility. We write the outcome. We say, these are the 5 outcomes this person should be able to deliver in next 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. If we are hiring a VP sales, it would clearly say, the sales will double from, say, $2 million to $6 million in 3 years, or whatever. We would write the outcome. We'll say, he's responsible for building Asia Pacific markets. We'll write the outcomes and not the job responsibility, outcome actually. And then for each outcome, we write what are the competencies required and what are the skill set required. Should this guy be able to make a cast presentation? Should he be able to a great email writer, a communicator, or should he be very proficient with Excel sheet, things like that. We write all the competencies and skill set. And then we go about interviewing everybody in a number of ways. So there's a book called WHO. That's my favorite book. And if you read only one book about hiring, go and read that. It's written by a guy called G.H. Smart. And it talks about how you screen candidates. It talks about how you interview on a top grading level, how you interview. So typically at Carvalhay, interview now lasts for 8 hours. It used to last for half an hour. We were scared about asking big questions. But I think all that we have learned in terms of how to go about doing that. And also, once you really interviewed somebody, when you like somebody, we learn how to sell the company. Because the really good guy is not dying to join Carvalhay. There's so many good companies. There's a Google, there's a Facebook, there's YouTube, and they can go and work for all those companies. Nobody's actually dying to work for us. We learn how to sell companies. What do we do to really tell them that why should they work for Carvalhay? Maybe in the process we'll talk about those things.
So Venki has told me that there's this interesting process which they follow to recruit people. So I just request Venki to throw a light on the process, which is interesting.
The first most important thing, when we did a startup, I looked around in my team. I was an investment banker, and most of the people in my core team were all financial services people, 8-10 years. So we said we are getting into the vada pav space. First of all, they all looked at me and found what is this to do. And I asked the first person, we needed somebody from a purchase background, and I said we'll go and recruit or something. So my administrative guy or typical office boy was the only person in the office who said he buys provisions for his house, buys machis in his home, fish. So I said, you are a purchase manager, come over. Karke. That's how we started. So we started somebody with a little background nearest with it. The next person, we had the core team members. So when we actually started getting the hands-on boys who will actually do the production, the same person who was handling admin, we went around to the Mumbai colleges, 8 to 10 colleges, 8 vada pav in most of the canteens, and we said which tastes good. And suddenly somewhere in Mulund we found a 12 people team, and that college vada pav was the best, and it was like anything. So the only thing that was that I stood outside the college. This man went inside and said, my boss has come or CEO has come. And under a tree, I interviewed all these 12 boys, got a tempo and put them into the tempo and brought them to my shack. Now that was a very unique way because it was a startup. Over a period of time, we required a lot of boys to run the business and as the company grew. But at the store level, we couldn't hire great talent at the HO level or what we call. We never had a HO actually. Office and stores were literally the same. Except for the 4 or 5 core team members we had, around a boy used to take a board, and there used to be an express train that used to come from UP to Kalyan, Mumbai. I don't know what is the train called, UP Mumbai train. It was a very well-known train, and used to stand with Goli Vada Pav and said wanted boys in Hindi, and people would take the bag and they said Goli hai kya, and they used to come to our kitchen. So the train recruitment, any train that came from UP was the core team members or the boys who used to work. That's how we went about recruiting at the initial stage. But from the perspective of management, we said knowledge, skill, and attitude. Somewhere we felt knowledge is limited, skill, okay, but attitude is what we got winners from. The attitude was the most important part. We started focusing over a period of time. And also when we started recruiting, any person who came, we used to say, is he got a good talent? Okay. He's got a good temperament? Okay. If he's got a good team spirit? Okay. Then we should give him target. The idea was that we had to simplify the HR process, very simple, so that retail level boys who are running the store could understand. So we'll say, how do you select a boy? We used to say, first look for some talent. Then you say, कुछ temperament है क्या? Steve Waugh was the example we used to give. You know, they used to watch cricket match, you know, or Lance Klusener. So the boys understood Lance Klusener and Steve Waugh. Most of them used to watch cricket match. So temperament अच्छा होना चाहिए. The third we used to say is team spirit. Team spirit we used to give a lot of examples. And somebody has seen Chetan Sharma in a world match. And you know, some cricketers in India and across the world who were not team people. And those people who were team people. And team was, and then we say we'll give him target. So that was a very simplified process.
Mr. Nagaraj, perspective on the same, like the process.
I wish I could go to a station to recruit people. But the kind of industry that I represent, we have not come to that level yet. But I sincerely hope the large number of people that we target. But again, here is my take on talent. With the kind of companies that are coming in now, you give the example of the Facebooks and the Googles that are recruiting worldwide. Anybody can replicate the infrastructure, the hardware, the software, the building, the the air conditioning, the furniture, ergonomic designs and whatnots, and you can have fully loaded cafeterias and creche and everything. But please, let's all remember that the best assets that we build are the ones who actually walk out every evening to return back the next day. And I think as long as we take care of the people that we have, the future inputs are not a problem. So we have to be innovative, we have to have drive, and we have to have initiative in maintaining the current talent pool that is there within the organization. And that kind of ensures the future. I'll give you a very real life example on how we go about retaining talent. There was this lady who approached me and said that she is resigning. Now, for all of you who are in HR or are known to HR, resignation is a problem-causing situation where you have to now bother about getting that person out and getting the new person in. So when we found out as to what the actual situation was, the husband got transferred, so she was following the husband. Now what do? There are multiple options that are available. You transfer this person to the new location and make sure that she continues. Or we went even one step ahead. We said, what was the husband doing? Found out that the husband was, fortunately for us, also in the software industry. And so we managed to get both the husband and wife working for us, and they still do work for us in London. So there are different ways that we can do things. There is no one-size-fits-all approach. There is no standard operating procedure, but people have to be dealt as people are. And one of the best things about the HR professions is that you have to be a human first. The processes can follow. Yes, are we not governed by processes? We are. We have perhaps the best written processes. But when it comes to people, you will have to deal with them differently. So you can either quote from the rules of your process books, or you can listen to an individual and treat him like one.
Thanks a lot. 3 years back, I still remember then, when I was in college, so the whole idea is to get into a company which is branded, which has a good, outreach to people and which has a strong market hold. After 3 years, things changed for me, and I've started my company, Win Solutions, an event management company. By considering that fact, and when I went into the market to recruit people, I faced a lot of problems because the brand was not built and it was not established. So, considering the point which is of ambience, brand, how people, get the feel when they enter a company or a premises, and considering a startup as well. So, what are the challenges which generally, like startups face in terms of recruiting people, which is a because you cannot, give either you give a high salary or what promise you give that okay, we'll build a turnover together. So you make them partner or what? Like this is a very interesting thing.
Yeah, so I think the first thing as a startup founder is to find co-founders. I was with who came to pick me up. He asked me that how do I start my company? And I think I said that first thing is you got to have a meaningful purpose. The meaningful purpose is something which improves the lives of people, which can either which can right a wrong, or which can continue or enhance something which is good for a longer period. For example, you can create a wrinkle-free cream and say it's so good to be young, and if you use the cream, you'll stay younger for a longer period, for example, or things like that. So I said if you have a meaningful purpose, you'll find soulmates who believe in that purpose. And it's easy to find co-founder when you have purpose, rather than telling people that I'll build a big company and therefore we can make lots of money. People joined me because I wanted to do telemedicine. I wanted to change the rural lives in central India where people are dying of malaria and diarrhea. So the guys joined me, leaving their IT, in fact. So that was one. But other than that, it was so difficult to hire the first 2 employees. I remember being in Bombay when the whole team was based out of Bhopal. I was in Bombay and I wanted to hire one girl.